quiet bunch. Tim Laurent, would you like to lead us? All right. Welcome to the September 21st Board of County Commissioners, Shawnee County. On my left is Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3, and on my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. I'm Bill Rippon, and I represent District 1. What do we have first?
Item 3, consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second, but I would note that on number 5 is the award of the $532,198 from the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for the coronavirus response spark funding to the Public Health Department. And also on number 7 is the contracts that we've entered with the school districts 321, 327, and 345 in the city of Rossville regarding their coronavirus relief funds.
Thank you. Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $2,564,976.28. The highlights out of the voucher report: payroll was $626,958.54. Under the Department of Corrections, there was $319,127.72. The majority of that was Horizon Health Care for our inmates. Under Health Department, health insurance premiums for our employees was $241,293.43. IT was $238,706.19. The majority of that was the CDW government, which was the purchase of equipment for remote working, teleconferencing, and social distancing. And finally, the largest was the holding accounts for the state of Kansas, $899,576.56. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers and would move for their approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B, emergency management. Number 1, consider approval to issue a request for quotations and proposals for devices, tools, and systems available to provide rapid and effective decontamination should a county office or department become contaminated due to COVID-19, utilizing CARES Act funding.
Good morning, Commissioners. Aaron Mahan with Emergency Management. As was stated, we are asking for permission to issue a request for proposals. We found that there are machines, instruments out there that can sanitize an entire room with nobody in it. There is continued potential, of course, for people to be inside the courthouse or inside other departments, offices, or county buildings. And if one of these offices or buildings should potentially become contaminated, we could use the instrument to totally decontaminate that room. Through our research, we found that there are several different makes and models, and all of them costing over $10,000 a piece, and potentially a lot more than that. So through county purchasing policies, again, we are asking we be allowed to request for proposals to purchase one of these machines, and it can be reimbursed through the CARES Act funding.
Aaron, how do these machines work? Are they UV light? Are they like fogging mosquitoes? Or
It's kind of it's like a fogging machine. There's a disinfectant material that you pour inside of it, and it ionizes that material and spreads it throughout the room.
Is this something everybody has to be out of the room to?
Yes, sir.
All right.
At this point, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
We're asking for a request for proposal, so this would be for companies to make bids at what they could do, or?
Yes, the potential of the instrument and the machine itself, different pricing, the effectiveness of the model, any past history of it, and of course its design and construction.
Okay, so we would own the equipment?
Correct.
And what about training?
It would be managed by emergency management, and we would assign a person along with the redundant personnel in order to manage that machine, be trained on it in its effective use, and of course handle that piece of equipment.
Would that be part of the bid, the training then?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
How do you plan on going out and getting these proposals out into the public?
I'm sorry, sir.
How do you plan on going out and soliciting these proposals? I mean, how are you going to advertise it?
I've left it up to my operations section chief, Nelson Castile, to put the bid proposal together, and then he will send it out to a list of vendors and manufacturers that we've been in contact with initially.
I'll move. Oh, okay.
Morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. It'll go through our normal RFP process through the Audit Finance Department.
Okay. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item.
Item C, County Councilor, number 1, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution number HR 2020-1, a resolution regulating signs on Shawnee County property.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Shawnee County Councilor. This item is a proposed home rule resolution per county rules. That means that I'm not going to ask you to adopt the resolution at the end of our discussion today, but I'm going to ask you to schedule that for a future meeting for consideration of adoption. Let me go through the bullet points from my memo regarding the resolution, then I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about that. The resolution contains certain provisions. First of all, we want to clarify this resolution only applies to Shawnee County property. Wouldn't apply to the city of Topeka, state of Kansas, or any private property. It is merely a resolution dictating rules for placing signs on Shawnee County-owned property only. The resolution recognizes that public parks and public property are considered by courts to be traditional public forums that are open for political speech and debate. In traditional public forums, the government may not discriminate against speakers based upon the speaker's views. The courts call that content neutral. The resolution imposes content and viewpoint neutral time, place, and manner restrictions on signs on Shawnee County property to advance the county's interest in keeping our parks and our property free from visual clutter, safe for patrons, and to conserve county resources. Persons wanting to display signs in compliance with the resolution may do so without seeking prior permission from Shawnee County. So this is an important piece. This isn't setting up a permitting process. If you follow the rules in the sign resolution, you can go display your political speech to, let's say, a local business went to a park and wanted to throw up advertising. There's a certain way they can do that within the
To do our second reading of this, October 1st. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you.
Next.
Item E, Appraiser, number 1, consider approval of request to fill the Appraiser 1 position at Range 11, Step 6, at a salary of $55,424.71, including benefits, with funding from the departmental budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Bauman, County Appraiser. Pretty excited. We don't normally find an applicant with these qualifications. So we're asking that we increase the the pay to bring them in. Falls right in line with our other appraisers and the steps that we have with them. So we have discussed this with, or I have discussed this with Betty with finance and Angela with human resources. And it just so happens that we had another position that we hired in a little bit lower. This gives us room in our budget for 20 and 2021. So that's for your approval for us to be able to hire this person.
Questions?
No. Thank you for going through Angela and making sure it fits within your budget, and sounds like a great hire. I'll move to approve.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Steve. Next item.
Item F, Public Works, number 1, consider approval of request to award bid to Builders Choice Aggregates for the purchase of up to 12,000 tons of sand in the amount of $9.50 per ton for winter 2020-2021 snow and ice removal operations on county roads and on Grove and Monmouth Township roads maintained by Shawnee County, utilizing various fund accounts dependent upon location of use.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. In preparation for the coming winter, we solicited bids for sand. We received 2 bids. The lowest and best bid comes in at $9.50 per ton. This represents an increase from last year. Should be no substantial impact, negative impact to our budget, and I'm here requesting approval of award of the bid. Questions?
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Was that a second?
Yeah.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider approval of request to award bid to Scottwood Industries, Inc. for the purchase of up to 20,000 gallons of calcium chloride in the amount of 1.155 per gallon for winter 2020-2021 snow and ice removal operations on county roads and on Grove and Monmouth Township roads maintained by Shawnee County with funding from the Public Works Road Maintenance Fund.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. This item is almost a duplication of the last item, except that we're not talking sand, we're talking calcium chloride. And rather than $9.50 a ton, we're talking $1.16 per gallon. Questions?
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 3, consider approval of request to fill a vacant transportation specialist 1 position at a salary of no less than $56,511.80, including benefits, with funding from the Road Maintenance Fund, and to fill any subsequent openings that may become vacant as a result of filling this position.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Due to a recent retirement, this position is open. It's a primary signing position for the county Public Works. This position not only orders the blank material, the retro-reflective sheeting, but creates the sign, installs the sign, monitors the county for signs that maybe the sheeting has degraded enough that the sign needs to be replaced. It's an important position as such and needs to be replaced, and so I'm here before you asking for permission to fill this position. Questions?
Questions?
No, I move to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioners.
Kurt. Next item.
Item G, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to award the bid for the purchase of tulip and variety bulbs to Stufbergen Bulb, KRS Quality Growers LLC, in the amount of $16,739.70 to be paid by the Parks for All Foundation, and authorization and execution of contract C-328-2020 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Rec. First, I want to start off by saying I realize we're a little bit late this year bringing this down to the commission, but I want to assure you that we are still on schedule. We will be able to have the tulips delivered if it's approved today by October 12th, which is about the same time we got them last year. Will give us plenty of time to get them planted this fall. The bulbs will be planted at the same locations we've done the last few years: Ted Inslee Gardens, Lake Shawnee, Gage Park, and Ward Mead Botanical Gardens. We would like to award the bid to, let's see if I can pronounce this, Stoofbergen Bulb. They are not the lowest bidder. However, we have worked with all three of the vendors that we received bids from, and it is the recommendation of the staff as well as some of our friends groups that this is the most responsive and most quality of the three bidders. So it has a lot to do with making sure you get what you order and not replacements, and fewer of their bulbs are rotten and when you receive them. And it's just they've done a fantastic job for us in the past. And as the memo states, the foundation is actually purchasing these bulbs. I have Kimberly Wolf here from the foundation if you have any questions. I also have Chris Beaton here, our horticulture supervisor, and he'd be happy to answer any questions as well.
So there's no tax dollars being used?
No tax dollars being used for the bulbs, correct.
Any other questions?
Yes. Perhaps this might be a question for Betty, why this item is even before us as the Board of County Commissioners. If it's being paid for by the Parks for All, why not just let the Parks for All deal with it?
Well, it's just one of those kind of hybrid situations, because the contract is with us, our employees are going to be using, planting the bulbs and working with it. So although the foundation is going to be paying for it, the contract is with the county. Now, Tim and I have had a conversation that may change in the future. We may just have the contract be with the foundation, and if that was the case, then it would not come before you because the foundation is completely separate. But for right now, the contract is, and the RFP went through our process, so that's.
I asked, as the foundation is a complete separate other
Yes.
legal entity that has no connection to the county and is not controlled by the county, we have no control over how they spend their money and their finances. And so obviously we're very grateful that they would be willing to invest $16,739.70 into Shawnee County. But I just want to make sure it's clear that these are two separate entities.
Completely separate entities with completely separate control. We do not have control over the foundation at all. So in the future, if they would like to go through their own RFP process, then, that could be done, and the contract would be with them.
Commissioner Cook, I think they've always done this in the past, kind of
Right.
as common courtesy, I think, just to
Yes.
let us know, but
But I just want to make sure for the taxpayers that are watching and for the public who may have questions about, because it has come up before, is the Parks for All controlled by the county or are they separate? And just to clarify that they are a separate legal entity and they are not controlled by the county. So, and I do have one other question. And
Yes.
Tim, it does not say specifically, or I don't see where it says specifically the number of bulbs that $16,739.70 would pay for.
I'm going to ask Mr. Beaton to come up and see if hopefully he has that answer. I'm not sure of the exact amount.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Beaton, Horticulture Supervisor. This year we are purchasing 88,120 bulbs this year. It's down a little from last year, but about the same we have in the past. So.
And at the end of the season, we dig up the bulbs and we sell them, and are we planning on continuing that practice?
This last year with everything going on, we didn't sell them, but as people came to us, we didn't advertise or anything. We recommended where our donation boxes were and everything, so we did set them off to the side this year, and they were able to donate in our donation boxes towards that. I think moving forward, as long as everything's back to normal, we'll plan on having a tulip bulb sale again in the future.
And then just the final question. Can you tell us again, and I know I've asked this question in years past, but why would we dig up the bulbs and sell them? Why not try to use them for the next year and save the Parks for All Foundation the $16,000, maybe being able to reduce it down to a lower amount?
Well, my understanding is that the bulbs, it's hard to store them over the winter and everything. That's why we go to get a lot of these are planted in our annual flower beds, so we're planting annuals right into them. Tulips are 4 to 6 inches deep, so when we go in and till them up, we'd be tilling them up anyways, so that's why we go in and dig them up. But we just don't have anywhere to store them over the winter, and to keep the same show coming every year, we switch out the variety of bulbs every year. We evaluate as a staff which ones do well and which ones don't, and then the ones that don't, then we try a new variety. That way we got different ones for the community to view every year, so that's why we switch them out.
Okay, thank you.
We have experimented in the past just leaving a bed alone and see if it comes up, and it's kind of hit and miss. So it's you don't get the effect of having new tulip bulbs. All right. Thank you. I guess
Thank you,
there's no
Commissioner.
action on this.
Actually, we're approving the contract with the company, so I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
We approve? Okay. All right, I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-329-2020 with Nicole Malone, Chef Lamona, to provide food, beverage, and/or items within the Shawnee County Parklands in accordance with the mobile vendor policy and procedures.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. This is your typical independent contractor agreement for a mobile vendor. This vendor has applied for a permit through us, has met the requirements, the KDHE licensing requirements, and we're just asking for your approval.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item H, Administrative Services. Number 1, update on revenues and expenses as of August 31st, 2020.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here this morning with the financial report for August 31st, 2020. We will begin by looking at the revenue. Through August 31st, we had received total revenue of $94,096,621. That is $1,268,000 under what had been budgeted. Or, I'm sorry, I am on the wrong line. That is $3 million. I thought that sounded too small. $3,858,999 under what was budgeted for that same time period for this year. This chart shows that, it also shows the different categories that make up that total, and we will go into each category individually. The first category is property tax revenue. Now, these numbers did not change from last month because we did not have a distribution of taxes in August. So we had received $79,522,931. That is $1,268,000 under what was estimated. But as I said, that did not change from last month. Other tax revenue, we received $9,061,761. That is $455,783, and that is including motor vehicle. And as Commissioner Cook mentioned today in the holding accounts, how much was going to the state, that is catching itself up. Because of the COVID and the courthouse being closed and all of that, they kind of got behind in that, and those numbers are coming up as people get those caught up. Next category is charges for services. We received $2,994,837. That is $1,146,000 under what was estimated. That is attributable to several different departments. The largest one is the Parks and Rec at $1,130,000, under what was estimated. DOC at $471,000. Register of Deeds is actually above what was estimated at $378,000. I think I think you have all been informed that the housing market has been moving quite swiftly and has not really been hampered by the coronavirus. So that is actually a higher than estimated amount. And then the Sheriff's Department, the revenue from them was $84,000 underestimated. Other revenue, we received $2,517,091. That is $677,000 under what was estimated, and that is mostly all from investment income that, as we all know, the interest rates are so much lower. So this is just the pie chart that shows the different percentages from the different categories. 84% of our revenue came from property taxes, 10% from other taxes, 3% from charges for services, and 3% from other revenue. Any questions on the revenue before I go on to the expenditures? Okay. For the extended expenditures year to date, we've either spent or encumbered $73,596,338. That is $3,587,905 under what was estimated. So that is a positive variance because we've spent less than was expected. This chart, again, just shows the different categories and how the total expenditures are made up of those categories. The first category we'll look at is law enforcement. We have spent $32,575,562. That is $2,175,000 under what was estimated. That is attributable to the Department of Corrections at $1,089,000 and the Sheriff's Office at $766,000. The next category is recreation. We spent $10,459,896. That is $921,000 under what was estimated, and that is with Parks and Rec. I will comment on that one. We are $921,000 under in expenses. They are $1,130,000 under in revenue. So our net on that is $209,000. That really the negative variance from Parks and Rec is the $209,000. The next category is public works, and this is just the money coming from general fund. This does not include any of the other programs, state or federal programs, or sales tax. We've spent $6,256,837, and that is right on budget. Public health, again, this is what is spent from the general fund. We subsidize the health department's fund by so much from the general fund, and so that's what's included in this. This does not include the total amount that the health department has spent because they also use grant funds and then some patient pay. So for public health, we spent $5,822,918, and that is right on budget. Administrative services, we spent $9,130,513. That is $180,000 under budget, and most of that is, like the contingency we've not had to use so far this year, and then other than that, it's spread among the departments. And the last is debt service. We spent $9,350,612. That is $290,000 under what was budgeted, because we had budgeted for new debt this year, and that we budgeted $290,000 for interest for that new debt. Well, because of the virus, we have not issued that new debt yet, so did not have that interest payment. So this is the chart that shows the different categories. You can see how law enforcement is obviously the largest category. And here is the pie chart with the percentages. Law enforcement is 44%, recreation 14%, public works 9%, public health 8%, admin services 12%, and debt services 13%. Now that debt service, that includes all of the interest and the principal that will be paid for this year. So this percentage at 13%, the amount will stay the same, but other expenditures will increase. So that percentage will go down between now and the end of the year. So I just wanted to kind of go through, as kind of wrapping things up. You know, I told you that our revenue, we had a negative variance of $3,859,000. But in the expenditures, we have a positive variance of $3,588,000. So as a net variance for the county right now, we have a negative variance of $271,000. So, you know, it's kind of easy to hear those big numbers of 3 million, but we really need to look at the net for the county as a whole. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Betty, up to this point, here we are at the end of September. The county will have received the majority of its income through property taxes, but our expenses are going to continue to accumulate on us through the end of the year.
Right.
And so if I'm looking right now, we have $20,500,283 income over expenses at this point. Do we have any idea where we might be? I mean, are we going to be able to make budget at the end of the year?
Well, and that's why we really look at the variance to budget rather than the actual dollars, because the expenditures are spread clear out throughout the year. So we still have, this is at the end of August, so we still have 4 more months worth of expenditures. As you said, the majority, our highest, as you saw, our highest revenue comes from property tax, and we've received most of our property tax through the first and the second half distributions. So that's why I really try to look at the variance from actual to budget, because the budget takes that into effect. The budget is set for how much should have come in different months of the year. So that's why we don't look at the actual amounts. We look at the budget variance.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, what's next?
Administrative communications.
Okay, at this time, we invite anyone from the public to speak, or people from or members of different departments that need to make announcements.
Well, I will just stay here.
All right.
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I just wanted to make the announcement that at the, let's see, it would be the 28th, the meeting next Monday for the Board of County Commissioners, we will have 2 presentations for the community-based programs that are funded by the Coronavirus Relief Fund, the one that you just approved at the last meeting. A representative from Greater Topeka Partnership will be here to talk about the Business Continuity Aid Program. And then also someone from Child Care Aware will be here to talk about the grant program for child care providers. And we're real anxious to get the word out on this. So they will be here to make presentations, to let the public know who they need to contact if they're interested in these funds. We'll also work with the county's PIO to get the word out on this also. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Mays?
Nothing from me.
Commissioner Cook?
Great fall weather, and hopefully everybody was able to go out and enjoy it. And hopefully we have some more of it over this upcoming weeks.
All right. First, I want to say we will not have a meeting on the 24th. Our next Board of County Commissioner meeting will be on the 28th. Isn't that right? I helped with a car show this weekend with it was the Gage Park War Memorial group, and had a great turnout. Lots of cars. Everybody had a good time. Also, I helped with a bike survey. That's kind of interesting, where with the survey, you're looking at pedestrian traffic as well as bike traffic, and they'll have like 15 locations around the city, and they monitor what kind of traffic they have for 2 hours, and they do this 3 different days, and but it's always a 2-hour block. But so what's the importance of all this? This information is used for planning where new sidewalks go, where trails go. The information's also used for grant information, so we have an idea of what kind of traffic we have out there for pedestrians and bikes. So, but it's always interesting to stand out there for 2 hours and keep track of what's going by. So anyway, that's all I have to report. We do have a need for an executive session, so I want to make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 10 minutes for the following reason: to consult with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged, an attorney-client privilege or relationship. There is a possibility of action immediately following this executive session. So,
Second.
motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries. We'll now go into executive session. We are now back in session, and I would like to make a motion to send 2 letters for recommendation for additional interchanges off the K 335, I think is what's the official number of that street. And one would be near the California Street in Topeka, and the other would be down by Auburn, the city of Auburn. So,
Second.
Yeah, I'd second that.
motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. We are adjourned.